So this is the Moji Professional. It's got two screens, and again, kind of reminds you of the Moji HTML generator. If we flip to the other, of course it's saying please specify var path, etc. But you recognize it. Kind of looks like the Moji HTML generator. But you see things that are very different. You know, first of all, this top end you recognize, except that here it's saying, what do you want for the file? And this gets back to the DUF, right? The direct uniquing formula that WP3 stumbled across and developed. This right here is allowing you to just decide how many web pages you want to put up, and it'll just put them up. No mess, no uniques. You don't need to do any of that anymore. It's just your regular var sheet laid out, and those vars is all you need. You don't need to run mash, you don't need to run uniques, and you can do a run and say, give me 100 pages. Then you can do another run and say, give me 1,000 pages. Then you can do another run and say, give me 5487 pages. Then you can say, do another run and give me 150,000 pages. And every time you do it, all those pages that it creates and puts up for you, which is the other end here, upload to FTP server, right here, they're all unique. They're unique. So it's not like you had to think about it. It's not like you had to pre-code it. It's not like you had to run a different run every time you want more uniques. You don't need to do that anymore. So that's in the Moji Pro. That's how that goes. So it's actually Moji HTML generator plus Moji SQL, the foundation on the way it's based, plus the direct uniquing formula, plus FTP, plus one more thing, and that's called profiles. Profiles you're going to find you like, because profiles allow you to save everything from both tabs at any one time into any single profile for any single run. And you'll see just how flexible that is here pretty shortly, because I'll show you some examples there. And so anyway, if we go to do this, then we kind of have to start back with something, right? Let's say, don't want to save the profile, don't have anything there. Let's say, oh, hello. Make panelist. Yeah. Who's that? And Smith. Ah, okay, that helped a lot. Yeah, I thought somebody there. Somebody showed up new. Every time I move someone over, got to see what kind of racket gets generated. All right, so anyway, let me see. So let's say I wanted to do a website about annuities. Maybe I'm doing it for myself or someone else who knows. And so here's an annuity website. And just stepping back to the Moji Toolbar 14, anyone who doesn't have it or doesn't know what it's capable of, let's say I want to take this and I want to create more web pages for that website. You know, that, of course, is always the easiest all the way around, right? So let's just say I went ahead, and how would you have to do this? And I'm going the long route here, just in case any of you guys don't have any of the setup. Like, for instance, when I click View Source on this page, I see the source code. We all know we need it. Now, mine is color-coded, right? And it's up in its own font and all that stuff. Well, that's not the same as Notepad exactly. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of what it's using for all this coloring and everything. I don't want to use its rules. I just want to start by clearing all that out. So I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to stick that into a text file. Paste. Okay? There. See the difference? I cleared out all the old formatting because I just don't know what kind of formatting this particular form is using, but I do know that Notepad doesn't read all that stuff. Notepad basically just reads the text and some really simple rules. So that's just a way to sort of cleanse out stuff that this particular editor is doing to me that I don't know about. All right, so I'm done with that part. And let me just keep this up so we can compare later, but I'll minimize. Now, what I want to do, really, is save this thing. So let's just have my folder. Let's say my little test folder here is where I'm going to save my project. Save as, you know. And I'm just going to call it something like annuity, you know. May as well call it base, but that's the idea. So all I do is save it here. Wow. And that's it. Now what do I want to do? I would like to see how this looks as an HTML file, because I want to work with it as a finished file with all the pieces working. Right? Again, the assumption is I'm going to put it back on their website. So no matter where I move this file, I want it to be mobile. I want all the images to connect properly, all the CSS style sheets to connect properly, everything, and it probably is not the case right now. So if I open it, sure enough, it doesn't look anything like the original website because all those relative links are broken, right? Those who don't know what I mean. Something like this. There's a link type in here, and the href tag that says where it is already starts with a slash. It says /theme /Corla /reset.css. What I needed to do is realize it needs to go to the website. Okay? I needed to understand that, all right, because that's what it needs to do. But of course, trying to deal with this directly is a pain in the neck, and that's the kind of reason that we build the automation we do in the first place, so we can make this easier. So I'm just going to select this all, copy it, and I know I want to put it into Excel, but I can't just put it into Excel with the buttons I have, like paste. See, it just pasted words, the words it understood out of there. So that's kind of useless for me. I needed to paste everything, the whole source code that we just had here. So let me do this again. I'm going to select, copy, and I'm going to go through Word, which is a great translator. It translates from Notepad to Excel. That way I can select all, which is easy with Control A, and I can Control Copy, and I can stick it into an Excel file. All right, well, I need an Excel file. So let me just create one real quick. And let me just call it vars because that's where we're headed here. And when I open that, then I can paste. Boom. All right, I got it in there. Now what I need to do is go to the Moji Toolbar 14. And for those of you on the trial, you can do this, which is kind of why I'm demoing it this way and told you guys if you want, get the trial toolbar so you can see how this works. But what I can do is say I need to make universal fixes, okay, which basically means whatever I have in my list of fixes, it needs to go through in order from step to step to fix all those broken links and stuff like that. And so I'm going to click on that. And because websites are so different that you're going to run across new things from time to time anyway, that's why we put the Add Edit button. I can hit that, and that way I can actually say I want, you know, whatever changes I make to go through. And these are all preset, you know, that's the way that goes. But then here I want the final change to be the website, just annuity.com, not the HTTPF part, just annuity.com, domain.com to annuity.com. That's all I need. And that is for the website. All right, now it's done. So let's just fix it. Wham, replace, OK, done, copy. And now when I put that back on my notepad text, right, wherever that is, right here. Okay, when I just paste over it, boom. It probably fixed basically everything. And the way I can double check that, let me minimize, is just to look. Now I don't need the Word anymore. I only needed that to get content from Notepad to Excel. I don't need it to get content from Excel back into Notepad. I only go one way with this, so I only use it that once. Boom. All right, so now when I open my file here, ooh, there we go. Allow block content. That's just for JavaScript stuff and so on because this thing is physically sitting on my computer. You know, once it's uploaded, it won't be an issue. It is all here. See how the CSS style sheet's working because it's applying those rules. You know, turn links orange when you hover over them. You know, that's stuff that comes out of the style sheet concept. Annuity, all these things are doing what they're supposed to do. First name, last name, if I do a state, I can select from it. It's all here, and it's all set up the right way, even though it's physically sitting on my desktop, which means I can put this page anywhere on the internet, and it will function correctly. Now, Google won't like it so much if it's not sitting on the original website. And why? Because all the images and so forth, if I look at properties, are there on annuity.com. And so if I created a bunch of Moji pages where I had all the images on this website, but I put all these pages somewhere else, then they're going to look like doorway pages to Google because they're referencing all this content from some other website. Okay, that's where we do the advanced stuff that we were showing you guys in Moji Crew. It's not really advanced, it's just a few more tools, toolbars. And one of the things that was useful here was the what was the name of that item? That one, right? Free Download Manager. You download that, you open that up, and you can tell it, go to annuity.com, and download all the images, the style sheets, and all the supporting files for me and keep the folder structure the same way. Why do I want that? That way all the links are the same, really. That way I can put all the pages up on a new domain, and therefore the only thing I would have to change anymore is annuity.com to the name of whatever my new website would be. So it could be edit, replace, and I could just say annuity.com and replace it with, and it could be anything, moji-crew.com/annuity, you know, if that's the project I'm creating now. And then that's all I need. If I put a slash here, I need a slash there. If I don't put a slash, don't put a slash, right? Replace all. And you see how it fixed everything. Because then I can upload all those downloaded folders with all the files in them onto my own website, and all these things will naturally be the same. Everything will be the same. The only thing I had to change was the folder itself, the website link with whatever subfolder. But that's how that goes. So now I want to go the other way, Control X, Control V, and then change it back to annuity.com. And replace all. And so what's the point of all that? The point of all that is now I can move forward from there, right? So we have our vars, boom. And in our vars, what can we do? We can go ahead and say code to vars. Okay, that's our next step because all our fixes are done. We don't need the file list. If we wanted the file list, we could get it. And then we can clean out everything that doesn't end in something like a .jpeg, so on and so forth. This isn't perfected yet because we find we're not using it so much because the download manager gets us stuff. So we just haven't needed it. But, you know, we can always deal with that. In any case, let me get back to this. So, okay, here we go. Code to vars. That's what I want to do next. So I do a code to vars, and it gets it all done. Now, y'all know where we go from here if you know anything about the Moji system, right? We start creating our vars for everything. So here's why I'm going to do the shortcut bit. But I got a preset site that's set up properly so we can see real pages that look good. And so I'm just finishing off the chat about the Moji Toolbar 14 right now. What can I do? Thesaurus. And I'm cheating. I'm just having it whip out all these variations for me, you know, which I would normally do one at a time. Whenever it is, I got brain freeze and I couldn't figure out, or writer's block, and I couldn't figure out any variations. And by doing all that, it's done. Now I can do a header generator. Okay, that's the next step. All the stuff in the middle is just clean up stuff along the way. But with the header generator, what can I do with that? You guys know. I can stick that back in here. I can edit that thing and Control A, Control V to paste over it. Wow. Now, obviously, the last things I need to do, I might just check for, where'd that come from? Unless I cut it out accidentally. Let me get back there real quick anyway. All right, copy, paste. Select all, Control V. Okay, last thing I want to do is wherever there's a space like this, you know, Control C, Control H, you guys know the drill. Control V and create a space out of it. It's done. I can save it, and I can kill that top line now. Delete. Whip. Now, opening it, there it is. It's all varred out. And again, as you know, I cheated. Half the reason all this stuff is bleeding over and so forth is because it shouldn't even be vars in the first place, the titles and so forth or whatever it is, just bleeding over for that reason. I could adjust it. You know, I could go into the HTML page and pull this stuff down, just hit space, space, space a few times, and it'll drop everything in the form. But I'm just doing this sloppy, dirty right now on this particular page. I'll show you something that's cleaner pretty soon. And of course, the last thing I need to do is the cleanup with replace var, or the replace editor, right? You guys know about that. And that's the, where is it, replace editor for getting rid of spaces and other things. It's kind of like the universal fixes, but replace editor allows us to clean up all those stray spaces and so forth. So I can view source. Oh, let me not do it that way. Well, select all, copy. Oh, wait. Why am I doing it that way anyway? Let me do it this way. It's so much easier. All right. Control A, Control C. I come back here, and I'll just stick it on another page real quick. Control V. And that was a mistake. I got to go through Word. So it's just a quick reminder to go through Word.